Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's early morning. The sun isn't even up yet when I'm recording this video, the video for the 17th of October, which is titled Many People Are Hurting. I finally got around to checking messages on my answering machine. Two were from a longtime friend I had not heard from for the past few years, even longer since I saw her last. She moved to another state, and though she is a medical doctor, she has been into holistic medicine for several years now. Like many, she is a targeted individual, and she is having an extremely rough time surviving economically. Of course, this is only a small part of the proverbial tip of the iceberg. Many of my friends are hurting, some with health issues and others with financial challenges. Quite a few invested in the RV, expecting to be enriched as the basket of currencies replaces the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. May God, whoever or whatever that is, help us. Isn't it time to right the horrible wrongs? Are you listening, Creator? Do you care? Indeed, I've been spending a lot of time outside, not sitting at my computer and listening to things. I've been out trying to help my son clean up the mess from the hurricane. As I've said before, the tree fell into the swimming pool and it's from the neighbor's yard, knocking down both their fence and ours. On this side of the property line, and they have provided a little bit of help, but not very much. Most of it's been my son and myself. We've been the two consistent ones throughout. But many people are hurting, as I said, and I apologize for the delay in getting back to people. For the whole week, I have not been listening to my messages on my answering machine. There were 8 messages altogether. 2 were from this one individual that I mentioned. And I expected to get an email from her with more detailed information, and when I do, I will pass it on and enable you to contact her. She does telephone recommendations, etc., and for those that can't be local. And anyway, as I said, she is just one of many that I know that are targeted, and she's been a targeted individual because she's been a whistleblower. When she lived here in Florida, I had her as a guest speaker on at least a couple of occasions at my group before I lost the ability to have meetings in my home when my family moved in with me. I have other friends that have put a lot of their savings into the dinar and other currency, expecting to reap a benefit. But we know, if you've been paying attention, we know that the powers that have been, the controllers, the people that in the U.S. and the cabal and whatever name you want to give them, these people have been trying hard to keep ordinary people like you and me that want to do good for the world, to keep us from becoming enriched and empowered. Enrichment, unfortunately, is the means of empowerment in our culture. I think that once the awakening really starts to happen and catch on to the masses, that will change. But for right now, money is what gives us the ability to be empowered, to be enrichment and empowerment are the same thing. They're synonymous in this culture, which is a monetary or monetized culture. And it's, as I've said many times, it's all based on fraud. Even if it was gold backed and stuff like that, the wealth still is in our ability to create, our ability to build and to work and to do things and to perform services for others. That's our true wealth. our true wealth is our health, and people's health is being challenged as they, I don't know how many of my friends that I know are going through some health challenges are still trying to well, I do know, I can think of some of them right off the top of my head now that are facing serious health challenges. I even know of a 2-year-old who has cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy. And yeah, you heard me right. 2 years old, and undergoing chemotherapy. What is wrong with that picture? Her family doesn't understand. I mean, I would never allow anybody in my family. If I could help stop it, I would try my best to stop the use of chemotherapy or any of these modern therapies, that radiation therapy or chemotherapy therapy. They do more damage than the disease. And there are better ways of treating it than the modern medical profession allows. I just realized that somehow I must have double-clicked the timer, and I looked to see how much time I had, and it had stopped at 2 seconds after I started it, which I just started it again, but I have no idea how long I've gone because I look at the timer. So anyway, this might end up being a short video, but I ended the blurb with, again, addressing God or Creator, because as I see it, folks, if God doesn't intervene and take these bastards out, and I'm talking about on the spiritual level, as in demons and or subverted angelic realms, if God doesn't remove these and these people that have enriched themselves and empowered themselves through fraud and deception for eons of time, but especially in our lifetime, if God doesn't do that, there is no hope. There is no hope. We're not going to be able, we, the ordinary people, are not going to be able to rise up unless we get some kind of a supernatural infestation or download or whatever you want to call it. Infestation is a bad word. I don't like that. Sorry that came to mind, but that's what came to mind. We need to be downloaded with something that will empower us to have equal or greater power than what the cabal has. We need to be able, as I've said before, to disarm their weapons, to render them useless. I do believe that's possible. I read Anastasia, a little kid, again, a little child that wasn't brainwashed, was able to do it in the story of Anastasia. And I believe that anything is possible if we get turned back on and get re-empowered and become what we were created to be at the beginning. And that's ultimately falls at the feet. The responsibility belongs to the Creator. And I don't mean the creator, the false creator that messed with our DNA and turned off our codons and made us less than what we were created to be. I mean the Creator who had good intentions, not the one who wanted to control his creation or its creation, whatever. Anyway, I appreciate your listening and I appreciate your support. And I will provide more information on how you can help this wonderful lady doctor who, I can remember her. I mean, she has done a lot over the years to help people, to wake people up. Yes, she's a whistleblower. And unfortunately, many of us whistleblowers are the ones that are suffering because they've made it difficult for us by stealing our property and other things. Thank you for listening, and namaste.